You are God, your consciousness of being. This is Hyptoria. Hypnotize you. Pause. Look around you. This very moment, every shape, sound, color, and face is not happening to you. It is happening because of you. The world you call your life is not out there. It is the projected film of your inner state, moving across the screen of time like the unfolding of a dream you forgot you were dreaming. You were never meant to chase the outer. That's illusion. The moment you grasp a thing, it changes. The world shifts like smoke in your hands. But when you return to the source, when you feel within as the origin of all things, everything outer bends to meet you. You are not here to change effects. You are here to awaken as the cause. Consciousness is not part of your reality. It is reality. Everything you call my world emerges from your awareness of being. Turn your gaze inward for a moment. Before your thoughts, before your name, before your history, what remains? Presence. Awareness. The vast stillness that says, I exist. That silent knowing of I am is not some passive state. It is the womb of creation. In it, worlds are born. Lesson 1. Consciousness is the only reality. What you accept as true within yourself becomes the law of your experience. Not because someone else said so, but because consciousness in you is God, and God never argues. It only assumes and manifests accordingly. This is the mystery forgotten by time and buried beneath personal identities. But you are remembering now. You are waking from the sleep of separation, from the illusion that the world is something other than your own being in motion. The moment you feel yourself as the source, rather than the effect, the atmosphere around you begins to rearrange. People treat you differently. Doorways open without your knocking, not because you tried harder, but because you remembered the truth of who you are. And the truth is simple. Whatever you consciously accept as being true of yourself becomes so. This is not wishful thinking. It is law, immovable and exact. Whether you accept yourself as worthy or unworthy, loved or unloved, prosperous or poor, life echoes back your self-concept with divine precision. Your inner speech, though silent to the world, speaks worlds into being. Your assumptions are not passive. They are the very substance of tomorrow's reality. This is why changing the outer first feels futile. It's like painting a mirror, hoping the reflection will smile. No, you must change what is being reflected, your self-perception, your dominant state of consciousness. When you go within and assume the state desired, the world cannot help but follow. It doesn't need time, it needs only conviction. A single moment of embodied knowing is more powerful than a lifetime of effort outside that knowing. The God you pray to is not separate from you, it is your own consciousness. There is no power outside of your awareness, no one to judge you, no one to grant you the life you desire. You are the granter, you are the law, and the world obediently rises to meet your internal decree. Look at any area of your life right now. It is not certain conditions that bind you, it is your belief in those conditions. The moment you drop the veil and remember, left double quotation mark, reality is fluid to the one who knows it springs from within. It hardens only in the absence of imagination, when the dreamer forgets he's dreaming. But when you dare to rise internally, to claim, I am no longer this, I am now that, the universe listens and obeys. The mirror does not argue, it only reflects. Then let it reflect your new assumption. Let it show you the version of life that already exists, for every possibility is already finished in the invisible realm. You do not create it, you select it. Through identity, you feel it as real before it is seen. You rest in it as though it has already happened, and then it will. You came into this world not to find yourself, but to create through remembrance. You do not need more evidence to believe. Belief is the evidence. Faith is not hoping. Faith is assuming. Living from knowing. Walking in the unseen until it becomes seen. So start now. Go within. Claim yourself anew. All of life waits to echo your awareness. For consciousness is the only reality. Listen to I am, the divine name, before anything was made, before the sun rose or the stars were flung into the night. There was only being, silent, formless, eternal. It spoke not in words, but in awareness. And when it did speak, it spoke one truth that still echoes through your soul today. I am. These two words hold the key to your kingdom.
spoken by no one and everyone. I am is the divine signature etched across the canvas of your life. It is not a phrase, it is power. It is not a thought, it is origin itself. Every time you say, I am, you are not stating something. You are giving birth to your next moment, sealing your fate with identity. And whether you're aware of it or not, the universe responds faithfully to whatever you dare to attach to those secret words.
I'm tired. I'm lost. I am not ready. And so, tiredness deepens, confusion expands, delay becomes reality, not because the universe is cruel, but because it is obedient. It hears its own voice through you, and whatever you, as its image, decree, it performs. This truth is not offered to frighten you, but to awaken you. You are not the weak echo of a distant creator. You are that creator, dreaming in form, waking up moment by moment to your own authorship. You speak creation into existence, not from effort, but from identity. It was never about forcing an outcome. It was always about embodying the source. Do not rush past this truth. I am is holy. It is the seedbed of all experience. Before the mind picks a direction, before the mouth describes the world, I am stands waiting, ready to become the life you choose to assume. This is why the ancient voice from the burning bush declared, I am that I am, not as riddle, but as revelation. I am that, whatever comes next. I am wealthy, I am loved, I am whole, I am free. The living God dwells in you as your capacity to assume any truth and make it flesh. You are not far from the source. You are its expression, layered in identity, buried under beliefs, and now rising again as remembrance. But see this clearly. The name alone does not create. The name, when paired with awareness of being, becomes the womb of the world. You must feel the truth of what you speak. I am successful, spoken with doubt, is only noise. Left, double quotation mark. I am abundant, whispered with knowing can part the seas of impossibility. The creative power of I am is ignited by the emotion you clothe it with. The inner tone is the architect of the outer form. The moment you realize you are not speaking to God, you are speaking as God. You stop waiting, you stop bargaining, you stop praying from lack, and instead, you declare from fullness, I am already it. You stop asking and start assuming. You close the gap between desire and reality by knowing your assumption is causation. The mold is your state of being, and reality hardens around it like clay. You became a body, but you are not a body. You have memories, but you are not the past. Strip away every label, man, woman, rich, poor, broken, healed, and all that remains is the I am. This presence of being is not earned, it is remembered. It was with you before your first breath, and will remain after the last shadow of form dissolves. The I am is indivisible, unbound, and yours. Right now, you do not need to understand the mystery of God to embody it. You do not need a perfect emotional state to begin. All you need is a willingness to return to the eternal now and claim with clarity, I am. Speak no longer as the beggar. Speak no more as the seeker. Let this holy name rise from within you as the cause not of what you want, but of what you are choosing to feel yourself to be. You are the infinite choosing form. You are not trying to become divine. You are disrobing every false identity that said otherwise. When you sit in silence and say without effort, I am, you touch the untouchable. You rise above time. You reclaim yourself not as man, not as woman, but as being itself. So speak it often, silently or aloud, not repeating to convince, but declaring to become. Let each I am be a doorway, a code, a permission slip to live as your highest vision now. Attach not fear, not history, but love and knowing to those immortal words. Because every I am is a seed falling into the fertile ground of consciousness, and what you plant must grow. Lesson 3. Your world is a mirror of self. You are standing in the center of your universe, but not as a small point in a vast space, not as a body in a world of separate objects. You are the projector, The screen you call life simply reflects what you hold within. This is the first great mystery of manifestation. The outer world has no life of its own. It is animated, directed, and shaped by the assumptions you wear as your identity. What you are seeing outside is only reporting back what you've accepted as true inside. You are not responding to life. You are watching it respond to you. Every person you meet, every situation you confront, every repeated pattern, it is not random, nor is it punishment. It is revelation. The world comes to show you yourself, moment by moment, in perfect and persistent clarity. When you meet love, you are meeting the echo of a self that has remembered its worth. When you face resistance, it is a mirror held up to the places within still identified with fear, doubt, or smallness. The mirror does not judge, it simply reflects. It cannot display anything other than what you are being. Change begins and ends with you. Not the you most people speak of, but the deeper I am essence that silently believes and feels at every moment. This I am, pure and unlimited, allows you to adopt states of being like clothing. And whatever state you wear inwardly, the world must mirror back to you with utter precision. Perhaps you fought hard to change someone's behavior, to attract more wealth, to heal the body, but nothing shifted. Because outer effort can never override inner identity. You cannot paint a new scene onto a mirror and expect it to stay. The reflection only persists when the substance behind it remains the same. Your prayers, your vision boards, your affirmations, they are not ineffective when done from truth. But when they are performed while remaining inwardly unchanged, they are like shouting at your reflection, asking it to smile while you frown. No outer circumstance can outlast the inner posture that birthed it. When you assume yourself to be unloved, unnoted, unassorted, that state becomes your world. The people you meet treat you as you expect them to. Opportunities seem to close before you arrive. The world says, as you are, I will be. But when you change your inner tone, when you carry yourself as already seen, already chosen, already worthy, everything recalibrates. You won't need to persuade or perform. The mirror cannot help but display the new. This is why the highest spiritual act is inner adjustment. Not in force, but in faith. Not to fix the world, but to understand you are that world. You are not fixing things out there. You are simply transmuting the beliefs in here. You withdraw attention from what you don't want, and you feed reality not by reacting, but by assuming a higher state that renders the old unrecognizable. The law of reflection is not punishment, it is power. It makes you the author, the artist, the sovereign being. You don't need to wonder what you are assuming. Look around. Is what you desire a distant dream, or does your world already carry the fragrance of its arrival? If not, you need not fear. You only need to turn within. Shift your concept of self. Dress in a new state like a royal robe, and the world will bow. This is not positive thinking. It is identity embodiment. For the world cannot contradict who you are being. It will always agree with your belief. When you truly believe you are successful, the world will whisper it back to you in clients, in checks, in open doors. When you dwell in the state of being loved, phone calls and smiles and favor flow toward your new center. You no longer wait for the world to give you permission. You assume what is true of you, and the mirror becomes that truth. So stop chasing reflections. They were never the source. Peel your focus away from the outer shell and return to the cause, your being, your I am. What are you accepting as real? Who do you believe yourself to be? Not in fleeting thoughts, but in felt identity. That is the birthplace of everything. You have looked into the mirror long enough and mistaken it for who you are. But you are the unseen face behind it all, the one shaping, selecting, directing. You no longer need to bang on the mirror to make a change. Simply smile from within, and the reflection cannot help but follow. The world you live in is not a prison. It is a canvas. The brush was never in someone else's hand. It has always rested gently in yours. Lesson 4. You are not becoming. You are revealing. You are not here to evolve into something new. You are here to uncover what has always been true. The world teaches you to become, to build yourself from scratch, to hustle toward worthiness, to earn your way into power. But the truth is far more breathtaking. You already are. Beneath every desire is not a lack, but a memory. You are remembering the self you buried in labels, years, and stories. You are not becoming divine. You are recognizing that you have never been otherwise. Feel that for a moment.
What if your journey isn't forward, but inward? What if manifestation is not the act of acquiring, but the unveiling of the state that was always yours to occupy? You do not become abundance. You remember that you are the source of it. You do not become lovable. You realize you have always been love, merely clothed in the illusion of separation. Every mystical truth circles back to this. You are already that which you seek. All creation is finished. There is no future version of you waiting to be created, only chosen. That self exists within the vast kingdom of states, and the moment you identify with it, feel as it feels, think as it thinks, it begins to shine through you. Like a sculpture already hidden beneath the marble, your truest self does not need to be added to. It needs only to be revealed by the removal of what is not it. Let go of striving. Striving implies you are not it now, and as long as you define yourself by that vibration of lack, the very thing you chase will flee, because it must. You have encoded your reality to mirror the idea, I'm not there yet. But hear this, nowhere is more sacred than now. No version of you is more worthy than you in this very breath. The only difference between who you are now and who you desire to be is identification. Are you wearing the mask of limitation or the crown of I am? There is great relief in remembrance. The weight drops from your shoulders when you no longer feel the need to earn spiritual stature. You are not working toward God, you are awakening as God, as the creative presence wrapped in human form. Your desires, those deep ones that stir in the silence of your soul, are not random. They are echoes from the self you already are, whispering, "Come home to me." Every longing is your future self calling you into the now. Don't wait for the world to validate your transformation. Begin inward. Walk in the new identity before the evidence arrives. Faith is a soul memory. It knows that the invisible causes the visible. Allow the reality of your being to lead, not the data of your senses. Senses show only what you've already accepted, but feeling reveals new worlds. Perhaps you've been taught to improve yourself, but that path is endless and exhausting. How can infinity be improved? The God within you, the I am, does not evolve. It expresses, unfolds, reveals. When you feel small, afraid, or unworthy, it's not because your spirit has diminished, it's because a false self has taken center stage. That false self, the masks, the roles, the doubts, was never the truth, and you can lay it down now. No more trying, now is for trusting. Trust the divine script written in your heart. Not the script the world gave you, but the one you feel in your quietest moments, the knowing, the stillness, the sacred yes that needs no reason. You are not on your way to becoming, you are relaxing into what you already are. The true you is already radiant, already whole. You don't need to fight to feel this, you need to surrender into it. Let your pretending fall away, and in its place will rise the authentic power of I am. And when you walk in that remembering, doors do not open for you. They dissolve, because the walls were never real to begin with. So breathe, beloved. You are not a problem to be solved, not a project to be fixed. You are a mystery to be revealed, a miracle already unfolding. The truth has never been far. It pulses underneath every desire, and behind every heartbeat. You are not lost. You are right here, God in motion, awakening to itself, through you. There's nothing to chase, only something to reveal. Lesson 5. Feeling yourself into new identity. Everything changes when you stop chasing outcomes and begin dwelling in identity. Your power lies not in effort, not in wishing or working harder, but in feeling. Life is not responding to what you want, it's responding to who you are, and who you are is always revealed by how you feel. You are not manifesting things, you are manifesting states, and those states, when felt deeply, give birth to new realities as naturally as a tree gives fruit. The law of life is not reward and punishment, it is following and reflecting. Your world follows the tone of your being. It reflects the vibration you consistently radiate inwardly. And that vibration is not a thought, it is a felt knowing, a sense. So pause and ask yourself, what do I feel to be true about me right now? Because the universe is not listening to your surface words, it listens to the feeling underneath them. You may affirm abundance all day, but if you still feel like someone who lacks,
struggles, or hopes without believing, the feeling wins. It always does. Feeling is the compass of your state. It is the language of your inner identity, and the invitation you send out to reality. You can't become what you don't first feel. Why? Because to manifest is to outpicture what's within. If you've imagined the new version of yourself, but not yet inhabited it, it remains fiction. But the moment you feel the scene not as a wish, but as a lived truth, it begins to mold the invisible into form. This is your secret. The moment you feel it, it begins. You may look around and say, but nothing has changed. That is only because you're watching the echo, not the origin. The change has already occurred in the place where all change begins, within. The outer will catch up, precisely as you stop needing it to, and trust the new state you felt into being. You do not need to analyze how. You only need to assume the position of the one who already is. This assumption isn't play pretending, it is inner embodiment. It's the artist, stepping into the scene, not to wish it into existence, but to become one with it. And once you are one with a new reality and feeling, it has no choice but to appear. Not because you made it happen through effort, but because law requires that form follows feeling. Let this truth become real to you. Identity is always stronger than behavior. Who you feel yourself to be determines what life reflects, no matter what actions you take. That's why two people can take identical steps and get different results, because they are operating from different concepts of self. Not in words, but in felt essence. One says, I know I am. The other says, I hope someday to become. The former walks in embodiment. The latter walks in lack. So the question is never simply, what do I want? But who am I now? And the fastest way to shift that state is not logic, it is imagination felt as reality. Sit in silence. See the version of yourself who has already become. Now feel what they feel. Let it wash through your body. Let that sense of I already am fill your breath, your posture, your perception. The only thing happening in this moment is alignment, and alignment is the birthplace of miracles. This is not mechanical repetition. It is conscious saturation. You're saturating your senses with the truth of a new state, and in doing so, dissolving the old one without effort. You're not fighting the old. You're simply ceasing to feed it with feeling. You're falling in love with a new self until it becomes inevitable. You don't need evidence first. Feeling is your evidence. Feeling is the cause, and the seen world is simply the delayed response. Do not wait for the outer to show something different. The outer only follows your inner declaration. Speak as who you are, not as who you used to be. Make decisions as the new self. Move your body, interact with the world, send messages, make plans, from the emotional posture of the one who already lives there. You are not being delusional. You are being divine. This is not pret. This is pre-creating. And as surely as night becomes morning, the world around you will reorganize itself to match. You don't need to rush. Stay faithful to the feeling. Let it imprint you. Let it rewrite your memory, your mood, your certainty. When you feel it, you've touched the divine. Because every time you enter a new feeling of self, you are stepping into a new timeline, a new reality, a new you, who already has what you once believed you needed to earn. And so the world bends not to your effort, but to your being. Lesson 6. The God within has no limits. There are no ceilings in God, no stories too broken to restore, no amount of time too late to collapse, no desire too large to fulfill. The presence within you, the awareness that says, I am, is without boundary, beyond logic, and untouched by fear. When you learn to identify with this divine presence as yourself, you break the illusion of limitation, not by fighting it, but by outgrowing it. You are not meant to live a life of compromise. You are here to express the fullness of your divine nature, without apology, without delay, without limit. You must understand, the only limits that bind you are the ones you have accepted as true. They are not truth itself, they are borrowed scripts, suggestions, illusions lined with false authority. But suggestions only become laws when written into your identity. If you stop calling it my lack, it loses power. If you stop labeling yourself unworthy, stuck, too late, not enough, the spell breaks. Just because something has been repeated in your past, even for decades, does not mean it must continue. You are not the past repeating. You are the I am revealing. Look not to your history for your future.
History is memory, and memory is not law. The infinite I am cannot be defined by memory. It is only shaped by presence, and presence is now. Now is the birthplace of identity, and identity is the birthplace of reality. If you want a different outer world, do not strive or push. Instead, declare anew, I am now the one I desire to be, not later, now. The God in you doesn't wait, the God in you speaks, and it is so. Every condition you see, every number in your bank account, every diagnosis, every lack, is subject to the greater truth of consciousness. If the limit was made by thought, it can be unmade by truth. A man once believed the world was flat. That belief created an entire version of reality until someone dared to see beyond it. In the same way, you may have accepted the edges of your life without question, but now you challenge them not with effort, but with the awareness that says, who told me I couldn't? Who told me I wasn't already enough? And then you silence that voice with the sacred, left double quotation mark. That is the end of limitation. Your job is not to fix the illusion, but to withdraw your agreement with it. Every limitation only survives through your continued partnership with doubt. But the moment you step out of it, even if only in feeling, even if only in the silence of your inner being, you've stepped into the boundless. That shift, though invisible at first, is felt. You don't try to believe, you feel the relief of choosing truth. You feel the expansion of stepping from fear into wholeness. You feel the stillness of knowing, without evidence, that you are already all you need to be. And that feeling reorders everything. Stop asking how. The God within you doesn't use logic. It speaks in identity and moves through assumption. It leaps where your mortal mind hesitates. It makes ways where none existed. It honors your word as law, because it knows no separation between you and the divine. If you say, I am healed, it is done. If you say, I am thriving, it responds. But if you waffle, if you say, I hope I will be, or someday I might be, the law waits. Not in punishment, in love, because it only brings what you accept as real. The power is there, eternally faithful, patiently present, waiting for your next fiat. Let there be. And there is. Do you see now? You were never waiting on a miracle. The miracle was always waiting on you. It was waiting for your surrender to truth, your rejection of lack, your refusal to keep calling yourself anything less than divine. You do not need more power. You do not need more time. You need only remember, I and the infinite are one. I and the word are one. I and the source are one. This union is not a metaphor. This is the eternal reality under your every breath. Whatever you deeply assume becomes flesh, not because you proved it, but because you chose it. Because the God within you does not vet your assumptions, it creates them. It does not ask if something is realistic. It asks, what are you embodying? Embody abundance, and watch the channels open wide. Embody love, and see it mirror back in faces and conversations, and timing too perfect to plan. Embody wholeness, and feel your world return to alignment. The God in you does not calculate by effort. The God in you moves by trust, by bold declaration, by inner knowing that what you hold within becomes what you hold without. The only limit was forgetting this. And now that you remember, there are none. Lesson 7. You are the cause, not the effect. You are the point of origin, the beginning, the spark behind every flicker of form in your world. Nothing enters your experience unless it first finds a home in your consciousness. The world with all its noises and shifting shapes appears to be acting upon you, but in truth, it is responding to you. There is no external force deciding your fate. There is only the inner sound of your self-concept, echoing outward into what we call physical reality. Life does not happen to you. It unfolds through you. The moment you believe yourself to be at the mercy of circumstances, you forget your identity. You start performing for appearances, shaping your words and actions around events that already occurred, as if the past holds the pen to your future. But you are not here to react. You are here to remember. You are the cause. Every assumption, every silent inner sentence, every emotional reaction, these are seeds sown into the fabric of reality. Your world is the harvest of those inner choices. You do not need to chase the fruits. Simply look to the root. It begins with your I am, who you are being now. When people say,
I can't help it. It's just the way things are. They are unknowingly chaining themselves to effects. They are worshipping the shadow rather than the light. The outer world is only an echo, a faithful imitation of your inner theater. You shape what you experience, even when you feel powerless, especially when you feel powerless. That very feeling, the sensation of helplessness, lack, defeat, is not the truth of you. It is a state you entered by identifying with a version of self that is not eternal. It's a role, a mask, a scene in the play. But the truth, the everlasting source beneath it all, is God, and God lives in you as you. If you shift within, the world must reflect it. It cannot do otherwise. Watch what happens when you walk as if you are already the one you desire to be. When you think, speak, and expect from this new place of being, your surroundings begin adjusting themselves to accommodate the new you. Chance meetings, unexpected favors, timely miracles, they are not accidents, they are confirmations. Evidence of an inner change announcing itself in form. To live as the cause is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are not trying to control life, you are letting life remember who you are. The moment you stop waiting for proof and begin dwelling in the end, you become magnetic to a world that mirrors your authority. Do not wait for the phone call. Be the person who has already received it. Do not beg for the relationship. Embody the love that would naturally attract it. Do not pray to be rescued. Rise in awareness as the one who could never be lost. This is a new way of living, not by reaction, but by remembrance. Your job is not to figure out how life rearranges itself. Your job is only this: return again and again to the truth that you are the dreamer dreaming awake. Whatever you accept yourself to be, and persist in being, must materialize. This is the law. This is love in operation. Think of every state of being like a radio station. Change the frequency, and the song changes. No effort required on the part of the world, only a quiet shift in tuning. You do not demand the world to be different. You choose differently within yourself, and let the world respond. It always does. But what about those persistent patterns? Those repeated situations that seem out of your control? Understand this: nothing repeats without belief. You may have assumed an identity that keeps attracting the same experience, because on some level, you thought it was who you were. But the moment you choose otherwise truly, without waiting for proof, the loop ends. Time bends, reality jumps track. You are never bound, except by your own agreement. And the moment you revoke the agreement, all heaven rushes in. Take this now deep into your spirit. No matter how loud the evidence, it does not rule you. Your inner shift holds greater power than any external history. 1,000 lifetimes of past choices cannot outweigh a single moment of remembering I am. For what you are being now is the only cause of what you will see next. So claim your authorship. Speak from the state of fulfillment. Let your thoughts, feelings, and words spring from the identity of the one who already is, not the one who hopes to be. Creation responds to self-awareness, not self-dub, and every change you desire begins when you stop waiting and start assuming your place as the origin. You are never a product of circumstances. You are the condition that causes them. Stand back not in fear, but in wonder, for the world before you is your own reflected face, and it waits only for your next becoming. Lesson 8. Speak from the end, not to it. There is a vast difference between desiring a thing and declaring it done. The former leaves you reaching, the latter places you firmly in possession. Most people speak to their desires, pleading with them, affirming them, hoping they'll come closer. But the mystic, the awakened one, speaks from the end. They do not wish to be healed. They say, I am whole. They do not try to attract love. They dwell in the identity of, I am beloved. Speaking from the end is not pretending. It is identification. Reality does not form around your longing. It forms around your assumption. The tones of voice you carry within, unspoken sense of what is already yours, vibrate into the field and shape your world without delay. When you speak to a thing, you put it out in time, someday, soon, maybe. But when you speak from it, you collapse time entirely. You embody the end and let all roads rearrange until they match the state you now occupy. You do not create with want, you create with knowing. To declare the end is to end the doubt. It is you standing in your rightful place as the author, not the audience. You were not born to beg things into being, but to command from the authority of I am. This is how all miracles are born, not from effort or waiting, but from being. When you shift your identity, the energy of what you desire no longer comes from outside. It flows from you, through you, as you.
Think now. What would I speak if I knew it were already done?
This is the key. The moment you imagine and feel from the fulfillment of your desire, you merge with the version of yourself where it already exists. That version of you isn't anxious, nor does it pray for arrival. That version lives in peace and certainty, speaking not of one day, but of now I am. You are not calling things to you. They come because you're aligned. You are not convincing the world to change. You are remembering that you already are the change. When you speak from the end, you cut the cords to the lesser self. The version of you that waits, doubts, delays, all of it is released. You speak only as the fulfilled, the chosen, the realized. You step into the state where there is nothing lacking, nothing more to fix, no process left to manage, and your very speech becomes prophecy. Not prediction, but pronouncement. Every word uttered in the state of the end is a seed of manifestation that cannot return void. Do not speak of how it must come, who must change, what must happen. These are shadows, distractions of the surface mind. Instead, speak from the place where it is already yours. Let that voice become your inner tone, your emotional posture, even in silence. When you walk into a room, the world will begin to rearrange itself to fit the one you've declared yourself to be. Others won't know what is shifted, but they'll feel it. That's the power of self-conviction. Your job is not to perform reality into place. Your job is to be the version of you where the desire is already fulfilled. Let the feeling of the wish fulfilled flood your senses like a perfume worn by your soul. Let your inner conversations shift from I hope to I am, from one day to this day. Feel it pulsing in your being as real, alive, already written. This is speaking from the end, not as fantasy, but as fact. When you claim the end in consciousness, the world obeys. All delays dissolve. Conditions fold in ways too intelligent to predict. Paths appear where there were only walls. This is not magic. This is alignment. The end you dwell in is the seed, and within that seed is the inevitability of your harvest. Everything between is just movement, supporting actors, momentary scenes, echoes of the story you've already told with your state of being. Can you feel the truth of this? Then act not as someone who believes it might happen. Act as if it already has. Trust the inner declaration more than the outer appearance. Speak as the healed, the wealthy, the loved, the enlightened. Let your words match the you that has already encountered the fruit, and you will not chase anything again. Your assumption becomes law, because your word is rooted in I am. Speak from the end. Speak as God speaks. It is already finished. And so it is. Lesson 9. Your assumption is the law. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle in motion. Reality does not delay because it is indifferent to time. It responds instantly to the tone of your being. What you assume to be true about yourself and the world forms the law by which your life unfolds. Assumption is not passive hoping or wishful thinking. It is embodiment. It is the invisible agreement you make with your own consciousness that what you accept as real within must become visible without. Every assumption is a permission slip. The moment you assume something to be true, you grant it entrance into your world. You hand consciousness the blueprint and say, This is who I am now. And consciousness, being infinitely obedient and void of resistance, simply reflects that assumption in form. You may believe the world has power, that circumstances decide, but the truth remains. Your unconscious assumptions run the show. You cannot hide from what you assume, for it leaks into tone, posture, breath, reaction, and expectation. Even silence speaks from assumption. The reason many feel stuck isn't because they lack imagination. It's because they are loyal to assumptions that contradict what they truly desire. You cannot be one who unconsciously assumes lack and expect abundance. You cannot argue for your limitations and experience liberation. The law does not respond to what you say once in emotion. It responds to what you assume consistently in your being. That's why repetition is not merely about habit, it is about identity reinforcement.
You do not repeat affirmations to make something happen. You repeat them to rewire who you are being. Assumption works, not because the universe is watching to reward or punish. It works because you are the universe in expression. The how of manifestation is not your concern.
Who am I now? Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not as a performance, not as a trick, but with the innocent power of a child choosing a role in play and knowing it to be so. When the assumption is pure, when doubt is no longer indulged, manifestation becomes inevitable. You are told, according to your faith be it unto you. But what is faith if not assumption sustained? Faith is not a struggle against evidence. Faith is alignment with the invisible truth that overrides the visible lie. The law does not care whether you are assuming greatness or defeat. It simply says, yes. It is not moral, it is mechanical. It works for saints and skeptics alike. Whoever walks in assumption, walks in law. This is why your only true responsibility is inner agreement. Outer conditions will lie, people will reflect old beliefs, timelines will tempt you to return to doubt, but the inner realm is yours alone. And when you assume something with certainty, even formlessness begins to form around you. Doors you couldn't have imagined open, people call, solutions arrive, not because they are sent, but because they are summoned. You are not trying to change reality by effort. You are selecting reality by being. You assume not to get, but because this is who you are now. Say I am wealthy, and you are not declaring a wish, you are assigning a role and choosing the corresponding reality. Say I am loved, and watch as the mirror shifts. Every assumption is a seed, and seeds, by nature, must bloom according to their kind. Persist, not through force, but through knowing. When you fall back into old assumptions, gently return. You are not punished, you are simply invited again to remember. All manifestation hinges on identity. The question is never, will the universe deliver? The question is always, what am I assuming to be true right now? One assumption lived is more powerful than 1,000 declarations uttered in disbelief. You do not attract what you want. You do not attract what you hope. You attract what you are conscious of being. Want says, it is away. Assumption says, it is done. You are the being that makes the unseen real through identity alone. There is no delay in law, only in belief. The law is simply this: assume the state, walk in it, rest in it, live from it, and the world will conspire, as it always has, to mirror the law you live by, the assumption you will not let go of. That which you assume with feeling, with knowing, with acceptance, must be. It is not magic, it is not manipulation, it is truth. Your assumption is the law. Lesson 10. You are not separate from the Creator. You search for signs, for whispers from the infinite. You look for proof that God is near, hoping for a divine breakthrough or visitation. Yet all along, you are what you seek. You are the current of divinity flowing through time. The separation you feel was never created by God. It was imagined in the assumption that God is somewhere else, someone else, somehow far. But here's the truth that shakes the illusion. You and the Creator are one. The moment you say, I am, you have already spoken God's name, not as a title handed to you, but as the essence of life moving through you. You are not outside of the divine intelligence, you are itself knowing awareness. God is not a being in the sky, watching and judging. God is the breath behind your thoughts, the stillness behind your name, and the imagining behind all form. You do not approach God, you remember, you unveil. You awaken to the presence that has never left you, because you are that presence. Spirit does not live in a temple made with hands, it lives in you. You are the holy place. Every word you speak about yourself is written into the tapestry of your world. Your assumptions are not suggestions to a distant deity, they are commands issued by the divine housed within you. This is why when you claim a thing with the inner tone of being, I am loved, I am wealthy, I am whole, the world must rearrange to reflect it, not because you're asking for permission, but because God in you is speaking as the only authority. There has never been a gap between you and Source. The illusion of separation came through belief, not fact. The moment you adopted the belief I am just human, or I must prove myself, you veiled your true self beneath layers of personality and history. But underneath all those costumes, divinity is undisturbed. It has never left its throne in you. only waited patiently for you to reclaim it. And you do so not by effort, but by knowing. There is no outside God granting wishes. There's only God being you desiring, assuming, and becoming. Your desire is God's desire in motion. Your longing is the divine nudging you to remember who you are, not to chase the dream, but to awaken to yourself as the source of it. This is why the law works, not because it is magic, but because God fulfills what God believes. And every assumption you make about yourself is that belief in action. What you believe about yourself isn't just affecting your life, it is creating your cosmos. To see yourself as less than divine is to live under a false kingdom. But when you know, truly and deeply, that the I in I am is the creator itself, you begin to speak from authority. You stop begging, you stop hoping, you assume, you declare, you walk in the finished work. That is what changes the world. Not effort, not waiting, not prayer to something outside, but awakened being. The old self wants to wait for confirmation. The God self knows it is done the moment it is spoken. The ego screams for signs. The soul answers with silence, for it knows the command has already gone forth. You do not stand in front of God. You stand as the expression of God's nature. You are the voice, the breath, and the vision of the infinite, awakened in form. There is nothing to reach for. You are it. When you realize that you're not separate, lack becomes impossible. How can God be without? How can the source need something that it already is? If you lack anything in your outer world right now, it is not because God is withholding, but because you have not yet assumed it within. You still see yourself as other, as the seeker, as the servant, but the servant has no inheritance, only the son does. And the son is not born of flesh, but of realization. You were never cast out, you only dreamed you were, and now the dream is ending. You are not the effect of a world you did not create. You are the one who has been creating all along. There is no distance to the divine but belief. Undo that belief, and you'll find that heaven never left. It was tucked inside your own I am all along. So speak again, not as the one who waits, but as the one who is. Speak not to God, but as God, and watch the world obey, because it must, because it always has, because there is no other. Lesson 11. Reality is the echo of being. You may have believed that reality is something set in stone, something out there, waiting for you to adjust yourself to it. But reality is not stone. It is soft clay, molding moment by moment to the vibrations of your inner being. The world is not fixed, it is fluid, and it does not speak first, it answers. Reality is always your echo. It repeats what you have whispered in silence. It behaves exactly as if your inner assumptions were commands, because they are. Every event, every face, every dollar, every open or closed door you encounter is answering the tone you carry within. That tone is your state of being, who you believe you are. Speak from love, and you will hear love reflected. Speak from lack, and lack is all that can come back. Some ask, why does nothing change? And the answer returns, because nothing within has changed. What you are being now, this moment, is casting the next shadow. If you want the echo to sound different, change the voice that's calling. You are not chasing reality. You are summoning it. You are not reacting to circumstances. You are impressing them with your identity. This is not positive thinking. This is sacred remembering. The world is not testing you. It is showing you. Not punishing, reflecting. The storm outside is the storm within. The peace outside is the peace you consented to within. You are always seeing yourself wearing masks. Some kind, some cruel, some generous, some cold. But all are the performance of your consciousness brought to life. Many still whisper to life, let me see it first, and then I'll believe it. Oh, but life responds, believe first, and I will show you. The echo never initiates, it only answers. This is why repeating limiting stories keeps them alive, not because they're true, but because you've made them true by identification. And reality, being the humble servant it is, continues to echo that identity faithfully, over and over, like a patient mirror. You could speak a new story at any moment, not as fantasy, but as fact, not in desperation, but in knowing. This is who I am now. And that one decision, to be it here, now, within, begins turning the entire ocean of life to reflect the change. It cannot do otherwise. The moment you stop describing what is, and begin declaring what is becoming, You align with the voice that creates worlds.
Stop waiting for the echo to change while clinging to the same old vibration. Be what you desire first. Live from the assumption of it, not toward it. Become the vibration of peace, and peace will answer.
Become the tone of abundance, and abundance will find you by law. Not because you begged or worked harder than others, but because you aligned with the frequency that calls it home. You are not a passive participant. You are source and form. The tone you carry reverberates outward endlessly, shaping the stage, the dialogue, the seasons of your existence. So choose wisely, boldly, tenderly, not from fear, but freedom. You were never here to chase a dream. You are the dreamer, dreaming it real. The sound of your state is constantly broadcasting to the world, and the world has no choice but to echo it back in full fidelity.
This is the supreme law of being. Nothing can appear outside of you that has not first been consented to within. It is not punishment, it is precision. Life isn't tormenting you, it is giving you feedback, not to berate you, but to empower you.
Every echo that doesn't feel like home is not a curse, but a flashlight. It brings your awareness to the state you've been dwelling in so you can choose again. There is no delay except in self-permission. Declare yourself new, and reality must bend to accommodate it, even if the evidence hasn't yet caught up. It will, it must, because its role is not to question or argue, it is to echo. Your word, your self-concept, your beingness, this is the original sound. Reality listens patiently, waiting to mirror back the note you give it. So if life feels heavy, speak light. If life feels cold, walk in warmth. If nothing seems to move, become the current. Don't ask the echo to start singing. Become the song. Reality is not life happening to you. It is life happening through you. With every breath, you are sending out the next tone. With every I am, you are tuning the symphony. The echo cannot surprise you, only reflect you. Who are you being now? Listen to your world. That is your answer. Don't fight it. Don't explain it. Transcend it. And once you do, the echo will change its sound. Lesson 12. Walk as the God you already are. You are not waiting to become divine. You are not growing into some higher version of yourself. You already are the fullness of God, clothed in flesh, dreaming a temporary dream of limitation. The only veil between you and your infinite self is belief. Belief in separation, belief in time, belief that you are less than what you truly are. The invitation of this chapter is not to wait, strive, or earn your divinity. It is to embody it. Walk in the world as the God you already are. You have been conditioned to believe you are a person, hoping something out there will change. But when you remember the truth, that you are the one from whom all things emerge, passivity dissolves, and creative ownership returns. This means you no longer have to ask, will this happen for me? Instead, you confidently assume, it is done, because I am the one who declares. God does not beg, God declares. And you are God, hidden in plain sight, rediscovering your voice. The world will never give you permission to walk in this truth. It will wait for you to grant that permission to yourself. Do you dare say, I am already what I wish to be? Do you dare act, feel, and move from that place before the evidence appears? Because once you do, the world has no choice but to conform. Spirit does not ask the mirror for approval before it smiles. It smiles, knowing the mirror reflects it back. Life is the mirror. You are the image. The reflection will always obey your posture. So begin with a simple, holy assumption. I am the one I have been seeking. Breathe those words in like medicine. Feel their weight and warmth. You are not trying to become. You're waking up to what has always been. The love you crave, the abundance you chase, the peace you long for, they are already here, embedded in your I am. This moment, not someday, is the threshold. And identity is the key. You do not earn divinity. You claim it, and you walk in it like a robe already tailored to your shape. God walks not in worry, but in certainty. God does not try, God is. Let your being speak louder than your words. Let your I am rise above your circumstances, above the noise of comparison, above the belief that something outside of you must change first. The bridge to your new reality is not in striving or struggle. It is in entering the state of the wish fulfilled. Remembering that feeling creates fact. You embody the identity of your desire by walking as though it is already yours, because in truth, it is. The moment you live, speak, and feel as the version of yourself who already has it, whatever that it is, you ascend to a state where the outer must echo the inner. Every desire contains within it the instructions for its own fulfillment. That impulse you feel is not random. It is a memo from your higher self, saying, left double quotation mark, step into your throne, rule from knowing. And when you do, your speech changes, your energy shifts, your choices align effortlessly because they now flow from a divine center, not a human fear. So walk as the God you are, not arrogantly, but humbly empowered. This is not ego playing dress up. This is truth emerging. You are not above others, but you are not beneath anything. The very power that carved oceans, ignited galaxies, and breathed your soul into skin moves as you. Walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows the source is not far away but forever here. As breath, as awareness, as I am. Every moment is a rehearsal for your destiny. Every step can be sacred, not because of the ground beneath you, but because of the presence within you. You are not walking toward heaven, you are walking from it. Make your life a temple, not by changing the world around you, but by transforming the way you occupy yourself within it. When you walk in faith, you are not hoping for creation, you are demonstrating it. This is the final unveiling. You are not the beggar in the temple. You are the temple. You are not the seeker of light. You are the light, appearing as form. You are creation's cause and its expression, the divine dreamer and the dream. Stop waiting for signs, be the sign. Stop searching for miracles, be the miracle. Every desire is simply God wanting to express more of itself through your form. So stand tall, speak from completion, radiate presence, love generously. Claim your inheritance by walking now as though it is done. Because when you walk as the God you already are, reality kneels before your being, and your world becomes the living proof.